Peace, y'all. I'm MC Graffiti of One Tonkatsu. Back in October of 2024, I did a video on this little camera. It is the Vivitar Super Mini camera. A lot of folks have actually been asking me a lot about it. There have been all kinds of comments about it, how to work it the right way, some troubleshooting stuff. I've been trying to answer every comment that I can. I, however, am not a Vivitar technician. I don't really know anything about it. All I know is that it's a cheap camera. It's fun. I definitely wish I hadn't paid as much for it as I had. That's neither here nor there. Because of the video about this little camera, back in, I'd say, mid-December, a company by the name of Chuzhao reached out to me to see if I wanted to unbox and review one of their cameras. I'm totally always down to do reviews of things that are sent to me if it's something that I'm at all interested in. And this is what they sent me. So this is a neat little camera. It is called the Retro Digital Camera by Chuzhao. There's a lot of crazy things on here. Like it says young people's camera. It also says classic, but more. So what this camera is supposed to be is a digital twin lens reflex camera. Looks like it's got a little viewfinder on top. I haven't opened this one, so I'm hoping everything is good, but based on what I found on their website and doing some more Googling, it looks like it's got a digital display on top, so you can kind of like shoot from the hip, and it just looks like an old school like Rolleiflex or similar twin lens reflex camera. Now, based on the specs here, most of it's in Chinese, so I can't read exactly what it is, but I can kind of like guesstimate. It looks like a 12 megapixel camera. It shoots in 1080p. It says that it has a 1/4 inch CMOS sensor. Yeah, I mean, the box looks super neat, unopened. So why don't we go ahead and let's get into it. So here's the box. Let's check out what we got here. I mean, the box is super neat looking, but I actually don't know all what is supposed to be with this. So this is the camera itself, which looks pretty neat. It is all plastic, which is not really a surprise, but it is pretty neat looking. Let's see here. I don't know what this is. Oh, neat. So that has a lanyard, neck strap, and the charging cable, which, ooh, the charging is USB-C. That's pretty neat, because the Vivitar camera that I had, that took micro USB, which is super annoying to, you know, be in 2025 and still getting micro USB. This is the manual. Let's see here, whole bunch of instructions that I'm gonna have to read through. I wonder if the other side is English at all. No. It is a very neat looking camera. It's definitely a little toy. Pop it open. How do you turn it on? Oh, there we go. So it looks like this button is what turned it on. Cool. So that's what it looks like from the top. It looks pretty cool. So yeah, I will use it for a little while. I'll test out all the different buttons and see what's what, and I will get back to you with photos and videos and whatever else I need to show y'all. So, yep. So believe it or not, this camera actually has a decent autofocus system, I guess. It's not like super fast, and it doesn't have like motion tracking for autofocus, but it does seem to have just a good overall auto feature. The way that it adjusts for the brightness is pretty decent. You know, obviously there's not like super high dynamic range for it or anything, but it does seem to adjust, I guess its internal shutter speed and maybe ISO, so that things aren't too blown out. And it does seem to kind of expose for what it's focused on. It's not terrible. So if you can see right now, it is focusing these darker areas of these plants, these bushes. And if I move it from focusing on the bush area towards the sky, you see how it darkens up that sky
and then the bush area gets really, really dark. I took photos for reference of both. You can see here when I move back, it does brighten up that sky quite a bit so that the bushes can be, you know, a little bit easier to see. There's no way to manually control the shutter speed or the ISO. You can't really manually control anything. The only thing that you can do is click a button on the side to make it focus, and really that's it, and then take your own photos or videos. But yeah, whatever it's doing, it does a pretty decent job of adjusting the settings internally so that it can get an okay exposure. I haven't uploaded the images yet, so I have no idea what the actual image quality is like, but I'm gonna take another couple photos, probably a couple videos, and we'll see how it all looks. So it seems like if you turn this lever forward or clockwise, like where there's 3 clicks, that's when it'll click in. So it records, and then it will hit a timer. Then it'll automatically stop recording. Now you can also just keep winding it, and after you stop for a couple of seconds, this time it doesn't, I guess, do a timer. It'll just keep recording. I don't know for how long before it'll add that stop recording, or if it will. But it's just a neat little thing. Now, because this thing clicks every time you turn it, it makes the footage really shaky. That's just something to keep in mind. Oh, I guess if you start rotating it again and then you stop, it will add the auto off timer again. I don't know if that shows up in the video footage. Like, I don't know if that timer will be displayed on it, but it's just something interesting and neat. Now, as for controls for the camera, there's a whole bunch of buttons, but the instructions are in Chinese. When you're looking at the front of the camera, this button here on the lower right-hand side, that is gonna be your shutter. If you press that, it'll take a photo, and if you hold it, it'll take a video. This button on this side changes it to the one filter option it has, which is grayscale. So you can't really tell on here. I'll take a couple photos, but if you press that, it'll change it to grayscale, and that does show it as grayscale in the viewfinder. This button here in the center is your review button. So if you press that, that'll let you review all of your media. The button on this side over here, that is gonna be your autofocus, and that's gonna let you turn autofocus on or turn it off. Additionally to this being your filter button, if you hold that, that's gonna be your power on and power off as well. On this rotating lever, if you press it in, that's gonna automatically hit the autofocus. So it'll make it focus on what it believes the subject is. Now, there are a couple weird things that I haven't figured out yet. Like, if you hold the playback button, it for some reason shows like the firmware version. Additionally, if you hold the autofocus on or off button for a little bit, it'll basically ask if you want to quickly reformat the camera. Now, the thing that I've found the hardest with this so far is when I'm actually reviewing the media on here, the controls are not very intuitive. I have a really hard time remembering what does what, because you press one button, it's like, do you want to delete this? And you try to say no and accidentally say yes. So that's just gonna take some practice. Another thing I'd like to point out is that the strap that I'm using is not the one that it came with. It did come with a Chuzhao branded strap, but I just had this one laying around, and I thought it looked a little bit nicer with the brown and tan and everything. You know, again, I will say, as far as the look of this thing, it does look pretty cool. I mean, it's tiny. Here's my hand for comparison, or right up to my big stupid face for comparison, but you can see it's very small. It's all plastic all throughout, and it is super lightweight. So what do I think of the Chuzhao retro digital camera? I think that it's a super cool looking little camera. I do think that it could be fun in certain circumstances. The picture quality is not fantastic, but I didn't really expect it to be.
I had a camera that I've seen range in price from $30 all the way up to $130, depending on if you look on their official website or if you look on like AliExpress. I think that any vintage camera enthusiast would probably really love how this camera actually looks, but its performance is not great. I could totally understand somebody picking this camera up for like 20 or 30 bucks just to have in their possession. I do think that given the right circumstances, you can make some decent looking images with this camera, but no matter how you slice it, the image detail will just never be there. And there was even one or two of those quick sample shots that I put up that didn't look awful, but that just shows you that literally if you have something that can capture an image, as long as you know composition, you can make it look good. As far as who I could recommend this camera to, I would say anybody who's like a toy camera collector, anybody who likes the look of vintage cameras, somebody who's got a little bit of extra money to throw to have a nice looking little piece sitting on their shelf. Yeah, I think that this would be great for you. Maybe even somebody who just wants to do some kind of crazy photography challenge. Sure, something like any kind of toy camera. I think that this would be great because honestly, it is really fun being able to just look down and shoot from the hip. There's something really, really captivating looking down through that top viewfinder. I don't know what it is, but there's something really great about it. So if you like this video, leave a comment, drop a like. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do. It definitely helps the channel grow. And I will catch y'all in the next. Peace.